Whilomville Stories Part 13, A Little Pilgrim by Stephen Crane, Short Stories. 1 November, it became clear to childish minds in certain parts of Whilomville that the Sunday school of the Presbyterian Church would not have for the children the usual tree on Christmas Eve. The funds free for that ancient festival would be used for the relief of suffering among the victims of the Charleston earthquake. The plan had been born in the generous head of the superintendent of the Sunday school, and during one session he had made a strong plea that the children should forego the vain pleasures of a tree, and in a glorious application of the golden rule, refuse a local use of the fund, and will that it be sent where dire distress might be alleviated. At the end of a tearfully eloquent speech, the question was put fairly to a vote, and the children, in a burst of virtuous abandon, carried the question for Charleston. Many of the teachers had been careful to preserve a finely neutral attitude, but even if they had cautioned the children against being too impetuous, they could not have checked the wild impulses. But this was a long time before Christmas. Very early, boys held important speech together. "Huh? You ain't gonna have no Christmas tree at the Presbyterian Sunday School?" Sullenly the victims answered, "No, we ain't." "Huh?" scoffed the other denominations. "We are gonna have all the finest, biggest tree that they ever saw in the world." The little Presbyterians were greatly downcast. It happened that Jimmy Trescott had regularly attended the Presbyterian Sunday School. The Trescotts were consistently undenominational, but they had sent their lad on Sundays to one of the places where they thought he would receive benefits. However, on one day in December, Jimmy appeared before his father and made a strong spiritual appeal to be forthwith attached to the Sunday school of a big progressive church. Dr. Trescott mused this question considerably. "Well, Jim," he said, "why do you conclude that the big progressive Sunday school is better for you than the Presbyterian Sunday school?" "Now, it's nicer," answered Jimmy, looking at his father with an anxious eye. "How do you mean?" "Why, now, some of the boys what go to the Presbyterian place, they ain't very nice," explained the flagrant Jimmy. Trescott mused the question considerably. Once more, in the end, he said, "Well, you may change if you wish this one time, but you must not be changing to and fro. You decide now, and then you must abide by your decision." "Yes, sir," said Jimmy brightly. "Big progressive." "All right," said the father, "but remember what I've told you." On the following Sunday morning, Jimmy presented himself at the door of the basement of the big progressive church. He was conspicuously washed, notably raimented, prominently, get back up there, down there, over there. He was prominently, where's it gone? Where the fuck have I gone? Prominently, where is it? Prominently polished, and incidentally he was very uncomfortable because of all these virtues. A number of acquaintances greeted him contemptuously. "Hello, Jimmy, what you doing here? Thought you were a Presbyterian." Jimmy cast down his eyes and made no reply. He was too cowed by the change. However, Homer Phelps, who was a regular patron of the big progressive Sunday school, suddenly appeared and said, "Hello, Jim." Jimmy seized upon him. Homer Phelps was amenable to Trescott laws, tribal if you like, but iron-bound, almost compulsory. "Hello, Homer," said Jimmy, and his manner was so good that Homer felt a great thrill in being able to show his superior a new condition of life. "You ain't never come here before, have you?" he demanded with a new arrogance. "No, I ain't," said Jimmy. Then they stared at each other and manoeuvred. "You don't know my teacher," said Homer. "No, I don't know her," admitted Jimmy, but in a way which contended, modestly, that he knew countless other Sunday school teachers. "Better join our class," said Homer sagely. "She wears spectacles, don't see very well sometimes. We do almost what we like." "All right," said Jimmy, glad to place himself in the hands of his friend. In due time they entered the Sunday schoolroom, where a man with benevolent whiskers stood on a platform and said, "We will now sing number 33. Pull for shore, sailor, pull for shore." And as the obedient throng burst into melody, the man on the platform indicated the time with a white and graceful hand. He was an ideal Sunday school superintendent, one who had never felt hunger or thirst, or the wound of the challenge of dishonour. Jimmy, walking carefully on his toes, followed Homer Phelps. He felt that the kingly superintendent might cry out and blast him to ashes before he could reach a chair. It was a desperate journey, but at last he heard Homer muttering to a young lady, who looked at him through the glasses with greatly magnified her eyes. "A new boy," she said in a deeply religious voice. "Yes'm," said Jimmy, trembling. The 5 other boys of the class scanned him keenly and derided his condition. "We will proceed to the lesson," said the young lady. Then she cried sternly, like a sergeant, "The 7th chapter of Jeremiah." There was a swift fluttering of leaflets. Then the name of Jeremiah, a wise man, towered over the feelings of these boys. Homer Phelps was doomed to read the 4th verse. He took a deep breath. He puffed out his lips. He gathered his strength for a great effort. His beginning was childishly explosive. He hurriedly said, "Thrust ye not in the lying words, as saying, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord are these." "Now," said the teacher, "Johnny Scanlan, tell us what these words mean." The Scanlan boy shamefacedly muttered that he did not know. The teacher's countenance saddened. Her heart was in her work. She wanted to make a success of this Sunday school class. "Perhaps Homer Phelps can tell us," she remarked.